Hey guys, it's Otti again. I'm sitting here at the Kulttempel in Oberhausen. Besides me is the band Modern English. Hi, first of all.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Fine, and you?
Nice to meet you. Very good, thank you.
Good. Or we can say two people. You are two people of Modern English. There are more in the band, but you are the main songwriters, as I was told.
I'm Robbie Gray and I'm the singer.
I'm Nick Conroy and I'm the bass player.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're songwriters, or
Yeah,
is it like this, the main songwriters?
Yeah.
And founding members?
Yeah,
Yeah,
original
yeah,
members,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Can't you tell?
I wouldn't tell it this way, maybe. Cool. And as I told you before, I didn't know much about your band before I went here, but at least I have listened to the album, to the current album, to some older stuff. I knew your name and some of the singles, but not really much. And maybe people outside even have the same problem, so maybe you can explain who are you exactly, what is your music all about, what do you do, and when did this all start?
About 1978, we did a demo, very early demo, just after punk rock, into post-punk sort of sound. You know, bands like Joy Division and The Cure and all that sort of stuff that was around. We just did a demo, sent it off, and we got 4AD got back to us. They weren't called 4AD then, but they got back and said they liked what they heard. Mm-hmm. And it started there. Early singles, Swans on Glass and Gathering Dust were our early singles. We're playing them tonight, actually.
Yeah, cool.
And then 2 albums, Mesh and Lace and After the Snow. Mesh and Lace is the edgy, noisier album, and then the kind of more songwriting After the Snow album.
And then we did a third album on 4AD, Ricochet Days, also with a guy called Hugh Jones, who produced our second LP, After the Snow. But getting back to what Rob was saying about the 4AD record label, when we signed to them, they had Rima and the band called Bauhaus, who were had just signed to the label.
And Nick Cave.
And then
Nick
the
Cave.
Birthday Party.
Cocteau Twins.
And then Dead Can Dance, and then This Mortal Coil, which we were both part of, and then bands like the Pixies. You know, the label became really quite big, and then oddly enough, they had a massive worldwide hit with Pump Up the Volume by a group called Mars. So when we started at the record label, there was just us really and Bauhaus.
Yeah, it was much smaller, but we got a gold album with After the Snow as well, which I Melt With You, our biggest song that we've ever had really, was on. But fast forward to today, and our new album 1, 2, 3, 4, which is self-released, is getting some really good reviews. I mean, you've heard it. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I like it.
You like
I
it?
wouldn't be here if I didn't like it.
Okay.
So if I'm interested, if I'm curious, I say, okay, this album is cool, so let's maybe talk to the band. I've seen you're playing here at my home.
Yeah.
So this was main reason why I asked for this interview.
Yeah, we recorded it, I think, a year ago?
Yes, in
upstate New York in America with Mario McNulty. We did it all live, well, not all of it, but most of it. You can hear the live drumming on it, and I think that's part of its charm, is the fact that a lot of it's played live, the music and the drumming sort of were played at the same time, so it makes it lively. It's got a live sound to it. Getting very good reviews, very good.
It's kind of like, it was recorded in the same way that we recorded at the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know, in like the late 70s, early 80s, where we all went into a room together and just played the songs. And there's, if it was a good take, that was it. You know, even if that meant that, parts of like the guitar was like feeding back, or there was an echo on the keyboards. We kept pretty much the performance on the record.
So it's a live recording, not everyone instrument by instrument doing this.
No.
Did you do this on other albums?
Our first LP,
Mesh and Lace.
Yeah, we did. But in between you have done this. Everyone has its own track.
After the Snow was done by a producer called Hugh Jones, and he was very, very thorough. And it started with the drums. He nearly killed the drummer. Then he nearly killed the bass player. He was very thorough. He just wanted everything to be perfect. It took a long time for that to happen.
And as you mentioned, it got good records, good reviews. It's the first album since 7 years, I think. Is it like that?
That's right.
Yeah.
7 or 8 years. The last LP was we recorded that ourselves. In fact, with Martin Young, who's in Colourbox and Mars, he did the we did that LP in Suffolk.
It's called "Take Me to the Trees," the album.
Yeah, I think I've written it down here. Yeah, Take Me to the Trees. We're right.
Well done.
Cool. So, yeah, but what I wanted to talk about is it like 7 years? So did you write all the time, or have you been pausing at the pandemic, or did you say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, okay, let's start again? What's your...
The reason the pandemic is when we started writing 1, 2, 3, 4, because in England at the time, if 3 people, I think it was, could go to work, you were allowed to go to work. So we could go to Mick's studio and start writing.
Okay.
I mean, you couldn't go, and work in a shop, but you could do our kind of work. You were allowed to go, 3 people, I think it was, were allowed to be in a room together to do certain things. And that's when we started writing a lot of the album. That was 2019, 20. So it's only 2 years really between Take Me to the Trees and the starting of us writing 1, 2, 3, 4.
And so is it influenced by the pandemic as well from the lyrics, or did you say, okay, we don't want to have this too much on the album?
No, the lyrics on the album are a bit agitated really. There's political slant on there. There's, not fakes about all the fake stuff that is coming through now with Instagram, and you're never sure what's real and what isn't. Because everything's online. What's real, what's not. It's a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4 is against that stuff.
And for example, one of my favorites was Instantly Not My Leader.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of, I think you're a rather political band, you can say, or at least you have political and social critique.
Social critique, yeah, but I mean it's got so bad with politics that you've got to say something. It's so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know about Germany, but I really don't. But with America, where we spend a lot of our time, and England, where where I live, it's terrible. It's really terrible.
Totally is. I talked to many British bands during the last years, or mostly at the last year doing these interviews, and most of them say like this, oh, it's really, really difficult. But I think the Conservatives now have problems in England. I've heard something in the news.
Well, like everybody's got, I mean, if it wouldn't matter who was running the country. They've run down our health system, the NHS, which was a really, really good thing. It's in bits, laying on the floor, smashed to pieces. It really is. It's just, the Conservatives are terrible anyway. They always have been. I
mean, also now there's like new scandals, of politicians who have been, caught with their trousers down or locked in places where they shouldn't have been locked up in places.
Almost one a week.
Yeah.
It's like in Germany now we have these scandals of people spying for Russia or China in the last days.
But you never know what's true and what isn't anymore. It's difficult to discern, to look at it and go, that's right, that's wrong, you just don't know. So it's very, very hard.
I mean, these days it's like with politicians, and it's kind of trickled down to society, it's like just deny everything.
Yeah.
And if you are asked like more than 4 times to start lying, and then repeat that lie until people start repeating the lie for you. So you don't have to bother convincing too many people that you're a shark.
It's crazy.
Everyone else is.
I think it's almost similar in Germany. So, for example, some politicians do really bad things, and in back times you always had to step back to
retire.
Make place for other people. Nowadays it's, no, I'm sitting here in my chair and wait and get my money, and it's really difficult. But this at least is something that influences you when you write your songs.
Well, it's always good to attack that stuff. I mean, you should as an artist be attacking something that's really, really wrong. I mean, you've got to. There's nothing else you can do. You can't write about trees forever or love when all this bad stuff's going on. It's just crazy.
And I normally don't ask for band names, especially not for bands like yours that are so long on. But in this case, is modern English like an ironic term for this, for all those things?
Well, it was a long time ago.
No, I mean we.
That was 1977.
Yeah. I mean, at the time we we needed to have a name.
Yeah.
And we came up with lots of different names, like most bands do. But Marian Faithfull
That's right.
had an LP called Broken English at the time. And, the English part, we were joking about, what we could call ourselves and, about being in England. And then modern English, just someone suggested it, 2 words, modern, blah, English, okay. We'd made the demo and we had to put a name on the demo.
Also, it was, the post-punk thing was happening, and it seemed really modern, and we were English, so it sort of made sense at the time.
Let's see. It's like TV Smith I talked to a few weeks ago, and he's had done it the same way. Being TV is most used technical stuff, and Smith is the most used English.
The most common English name.
Yeah.
I've never knew that. That's good.
Funny thing is, I really love the name. Modern English is cool. It's good to get into your mind.
Yeah.
But the one small problem is nowadays for Googling it, for example. So if you just do modern English, you get like translation sites and stuff. You always have to put on this band behind.
Yeah, that's true. But we're always top. The translation's down here.
And it's crazy, isn't it? In this day and age, when you think of a band name, you have to do something that. It's like there was a band in America called Live, Live, and it was like,
imagine googling that.
Live, Live, and they split up. You have to come up with a name that is kind of like, no one else has thought of.
I won't forget it in the future. So
Right.
And I had another song, plastic. So this is something that's important to me because I always think of how can we reduce waste, for example, or do something better. And I think the song is totally about pollution
I've got a house in Thailand, on one of the islands in Thailand, and that's really written about that because you can go out every day and pick up all the plastic around the island. You can fill maybe 10 bags of waste, and you can go back the next day and do the same thing. You can do that for the rest of your life, and there'll still be plastic.
Totally crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, it's absolutely. You can go swimming, you can go diving, and you'll come across turtles with plastic in their mouths. It's everywhere. It's in the food chain. It's probably in our bellies.
I mean, there's a podcast I listen to called The Show. Harry Shearer, who oddly enough was the bass player in Spinal Tap, but he does a political podcast, and every week he has a thing about microplastics.
There you go, yeah.
And
you can find them
and
everywhere.
it's all about new places that microplastics have been discovered. And it's like sometimes it gets so scary that microplastics are discovered in a batch of aspirin tablets. They're like everywhere.
Yeah, it's totally. And for the microplastic, for example, being at a river or at the sea, you even can do like gold, you can sift it.
You can find it everywhere.
Well, here's the thing though, we think of microplastics as something that you could like sieve. They're smaller, they are, it's
I think it's
almost like you can breathe them, birds like 20,000 feet up are kind of being found, like an albatross, who spends its life floating around. They have microplastics.
So none of it's good news, is it, really?
No.
We're not talking about anything good here.
No, not for us, not for the planet.
No,
but
really.
I think the planet will survive us, so...
I hope so.
I hope so as well.
Yeah.
And some million years in the future, the plastic will be mostly away.
Yeah, well, we won't be here to see that, will we?
No. But do you have some ideas or some tricks how you do avoid plastic or waste?
It's very difficult to do because, for instance, in Asia, where I spend a lot of time, they use it. All the plastic bags are used for everything. They use it for carrying the milk. They just put stuff in plastic bags. They're not going to stop doing that for at least 3 more generations. There's no way they're going to do that. So I don't know really what the answer is.
It's like in Europe, and I live in America. When you go to the supermarket, that you're expected to bring your own bags.
Yeah.
Your own kind of bag.
Hessian bag.
Hessian bag, and or in the States they have paper. Brown paper bags if you need to have the bag.
But in Southeast Asia, which covers half the planet, that's all plastic. All the bags are still plastic. They're only really just starting to look after their animals, like the dogs and stuff. I mean, let alone, you know, working on plastic. I mean, they don't treat their dogs very well. And, you know, in European countries in the West, we kind of look after our animals, but they don't really do a lot of that. And when you get from about Italy and Greece onwards, it's not good.
Yeah, it's a really difficult problem. I have friends, for example, working in animal protection, and they all say, you can't take them all over here to Europe or something, all those animals on the streets. You have to castrate. I think.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we've just got a new rescue dog, my wife and I, and that's come from Greece. The last dog we had came from the same island in Greece. I mean, they just don't treat their animals very well. I don't know why they have them even. I don't know why they bother having them.
But I think it's, let's say 100 years or more ago here in Middle Europe, Northern Europe, it wasn't better as well.
Probably, yeah.
Animals have been things for most people. Like, and if they have, for example, some injury or stuff, they have been killed. So, okay, let's take the next one.
Well, it used to be that people ate everything, didn't they? If you had offal or stomach, and you'd use it because you were so poor, people would eat it. I mean, it's just the way it is, or it used to be, and still is really in some places.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and I think that's the reason why bands like yours always have to say something. There are so many problems on the world.
I mean, look, there's lots of bands saying things, but it's a hard job, isn't it? I mean, you've got so many powerful people, so much money, and they don't really care about anything else apart from that. They don't care about the planet, that's for sure. They don't care about the beaches or the sea or the forests. So I don't know how we're supposed to do anything about it.
I really care about money.
Yeah.
It's totally like this. But we could talk about this long, and maybe it would be even interesting to do something like this, maybe at a podcast or something. But for today, I think we can talk a little bit about your live show and stuff, and then come to an end. I think it's a tour for the album, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes.
And the first shows have been together with BUZZCOCKS.
Yeah.
So maybe just a quick look. What has been totally exciting moments at that part of the tour? Something really cool you remember?
Yeah, it was great work with the BUZZCOCKS.
It was.
They were really nice people, good people.
We played in an amazing club in I've forgotten what it was called, but in Hamburg. It was suddenly it was like being in 1981. It was like punk. It was like a punk rock club, but everyone was our age. There were some young people there, but it was great to see everyone really having a brilliant time and packed venues. It was like
it's been good to do the album in Germany because our manager, who just turned up today from New York, has told us that we've had a spike in streaming services since we played in Germany. It's actually become the #1 country for streaming modern English.
So it shows, even for bands like yours, promotion and going on tour is really important.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're from the old school. We like playing live, so we've always enjoyed it. That's a big thing for us.
I see. And maybe you can tell what's the pro and the contra of being the headliner like tonight, or being like special guest support for something like BUZZCOCKS?
Well, the BUZZCOCKS will draw a big crowd. There'll be like 1,000 people there.
Okay, yeah.
It's slightly smaller crowds for us.
And also with us on the bill with the BUZZCOCKS, a lot of the audience came, especially to see the opening act. See modern English. A lot of people who like the BUZZCOCKS will probably have a passing knowledge of modern English as well.
And after the tour, do you have plans?
After the European tour, we do. After this, we're going to Holland and then back to London. We're playing in London, then playing in Paris. Then we've got some time off. Mick hasn't, but I have. And then we go back to America for about a month to tour in America, and then we're going to Canada for a while. Then we're going to Australia and New Zealand, and possibly China as well, later in the year in October, November time. So we're going to be busy.
I see. And hopefully next year you come back here to Germany.
I hope so, yeah.
So we can talk again.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah. So I think for today, the school, you have to prepare for the show, you have to eat something.
I can hear the drums.
Do some sound check.
Yeah.
So I won't hold you back now. But do you have something free, some message you want to tell the people outside, some greetings or stuff?
Well, just if you haven't heard the album 1, 2, 3, 4, give it a listen. It's got some beautiful artwork on the front as well.
Good. So thank you for the nice talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys outside, thank you for watching. Check out
you.
Modern English, and
Cheers.
I say bye. Cheers.
Auf Wiedersehen.